Nürburgring 24. Some bloke went and drove it. Apparently it was a real popular race.
Mad Max, unbelievable what one driver can do for an event.
Can George turn the tables though on Kimi, or is this Kimi now he's found his form?
Or can Kimi go 4 from 4? That's what everyone wants to know, Scott.
Do you want to have a go at saying it?
Well, if they're saying it as a word, I would pronounce it as a duo.
Aston Martin, they're so far off.
They've thrown the rule book out. They've said, don't worry about what we said the maximum money is.
Yeah, you can have it all.
We'll give you up to 19 million. How's that sound? All right, sound check, Scotty.
Sound check. Cheers.
Cheers. Welcome back, Scott.
Thanks, Elliot. It's great to be back. We are here too frequently lately. Hopefully no one's sick of our voices. This is episode 122. We are here previewing Canadian Grand Prix. Yeah. It's been a couple of weeks since the last Grand Prix in Miami, but we are facing the next 10 weeks. Got 7 Grand Prix, so we're stacked and we're spoiled for choice with Formula 1 content.
And we're kicking it off this weekend with Montreal, which will be exciting.
Yeah, I actually really can't wait for this one. Typically qualifying is, well, in Formula 1, qualifying is always most important. We've seen this year that's been flipped on its head a little bit with Ferrari making such good starts. And then also at Canada, it's very difficult not to win off the front row or first, even with the long straights. But I think this year with the artificial overtaking, if we still want to call it that, I think it's going to be difficult. I think the braking zones are quite short, so maybe we'll see some changes for the lead, even if the guy in front is fast enough that typically he would have pulled away in the past. So hopefully it's a banger.
We're going to sprinkle a little bit about the Indy too. Indy had qualifying for the Indy 500. So for the Indy fans, this is purely a wings and slicks episode for our open wheel buffs.
It is. Subscribe if you haven't already so that you get notified when we do our next one as well, because we're going to do this one, which is, like you said, open wheelers. And then we've got a touring car podcast special for the fans, which is supercars and NASCAR. So if that's your cup of tea, actually give us a view on this one. Much appreciated.
Yeah,
don't skip.
Stay the whole time, guys. You don't have to go anywhere.
Grab a beer and settle back for a nice cold one. But yes, we're going to have touring car stuff coming up as well, because supercars are in Tasmania and NASCAR go to the Coke 600, but we've got the debrief from Dover, which we'll put out after this one. That'll be episode 123. Now, Alexander Rossi, before we rip into F1, or we're going to start with Nürburgring actually and our thoughts around that. Of course, everyone has, but our take is a little bit different. But Rossi had a big shunt, mate. Practice 7 after qualifying in the Indy 500, didn't he?
Yeah, huge. Prac 7, as you said, mate. It just got loose on him. Nothing to do. Looked like a bit of a passenger. As you normally are in those high downforce, when the lap's flat, you kind of just hope it sticks, and if it doesn't, you're up shit creek without a paddle. Unfortunately, that's what happened. He hit the fence, and then Pato Award, just trying to avoid him, spun 2, ended up collecting him.
Yeah.
Both very lucky guys. It just goes to show how safe, or what a good job that IndyCar have done for Dallara building those cars. You know, those monocoques, cars are really, really strong, obviously. And we were chatting at the pub, mate, like the safer barriers and things like that. So that was a huge crash. So really good to see them walk away. Some minor injuries for Rossi, but he's hoping to still compete in the race. Yeah,
a finger on his left hand as well as his right ankle. It's crazy to see the accident and then go, he hurt his finger and hurt his right ankle. He has had a procedure. I'm not sure what that means exactly, because usually I would say operation, but it's a procedure to repair the injuries. But he does remain determined that he is going to race in the Indy 500 this weekend. And it is, we're live streaming on Patreon too. And one of our fantastic members mentioned about how stacked this weekend is. We've got V8s at Tasmania, Formula 1's at Canada, Indy 500's on, and the Coke 600. And then next week, we've also got the Monaco Grand Prix as well. So
you need to mow your lawns on Wednesday this week, because the weekend's cooked. You're just watching motorsport.
Exactly. But yeah, great to see that no one was injured in the IndyCar shunt, especially like Pato Ward as well went into him and they got away without injury, I believe. So checked on the scene and released. So all good there. Now, Nürburgring 24.
Yes.
Some bloke went and drove it. Apparently it was a real popular race.
Mad Max, unbelievable what one driver can do for an event. Just like, I'm sure, I haven't seen the stats, but I'm sure the eyeballs and the views were ridiculous on, it's a great race. It's obviously got a lot of history.
It was a sellout though. Like I've wondered really, how do you sell out the forest? Like, is it 350,000 people they reckon were there?
Yeah, I heard 350,000.
And I was like, I wonder like how you work out the capacity of the forest. But it was, I believe it was sold out the first time in history. So yes, you're right. The viewership has gone insane. Not only that, but also it was online.
Yeah, unbelievable. So, if you didn't see it, Max Verstappen was racing in his Merc GT team. And you mentioned it, Scotty, Red Bull TV actually did 24-hour stream. Like, you could just follow them the whole time. So, amazing access. And to watch Max do what he did, very, very exciting. to watch. Like, he just doesn't wait. So those races, there's obviously a massive speed difference between drivers and cars and things like that. Typical GT race, endurance style race. But Max don't wait for nobody.
He doesn't. He is relentless. Like, watching the onboard, especially that night stint, for me was the most impressive part of the entire Max masterclass. I thought what he did with Maro Engel was awesome. And shout out to Maro. Like, there had to be the amount of pressure on his shoulders having Max behind him. And you'd be thinking, dude, it's a 24-hour race. Like, we're in the middle of the night. Just give me a breather. Like,
it was a sprint. Max treated that thing like a 6-lap quali race.
100%.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Maro, because Maro, to me, was probably the only... Some people get the shits on me saying this, but he's really the only guy I've seen lately that's actually put up a fight. You know,
he doesn't roll over.
He was saying, no, I'm Maro Engel. I'm meant to be the top GT guy. I'm going to try and fight it out here.
Yeah.
Which I rated seeing. I thought that was great.
TLJ1724 has popped in our chat that the Nürburgring 24-hour live stream was at 225,000 live, and it dropped to 130 the moment Max hit trouble. 130,000.
So there you go.
It's dropped 100,000 viewers immediately.
So he's brought at least 100, probably plus, just to the stream.
Sad thing is, I was actually one of them. Which, you know, it's crazy. You think about the numbers, and you're like, actually, yeah, I logged off. I was on the Red Bull stream watching the onboard. But yeah, I was one of those. Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched as much of the 24-hour as I did on the week, ever, as I did on the weekend. So it is impressive. And yeah, he's relentless. And the way he drives, I mean, he raced it like a sprint race, I guess, but I don't think that's his mentality. I think he has that much spare capacity that he drives at that level all of the time whilst driving like it's an enduro. That's just him at an enduro pace. You know, that's...
I mean, it does sound funny, doesn't it, what we're saying? I mean, race car drivers should be driving as fast as they can every second of the time they're in the car, which is clearly what Max is doing. But yeah, I think you're right there. He does it effortlessly compared to others, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And then I wanted to mention, so he did have a failure, unfortunately, that drive shaft fail.
Not surprised. They were driving that thing hard. It was off the ground. It was on the grass. It was on curbs. Like, that thing it had its neck wrung for the whole 22 hours or whatever they lasted, 21 hours.
It's actually impressive how much those cars take off and slam back down and don't break other things. Like, there were very few mechanicals. It was pretty impressive. Now, the way the race is consumed is so there's been everyone's talking about, of course, how amazing Max was. I don't know why that's so impressive or such a shock.
Shouldn't be surprising.
Yeah, it's not surprising at all. He's the best driver in the world, and he's driving cars as well. Jumping in those GT cars, he knows the track as good as anybody. He's driven it 1 million times on the sim, and the sim's so accurate now, you can learn the track really well. And you said even over dinner, you were saying that have time models and everything like that. The sims that he uses would be great. And I was saying, like, if it was in the 90s or something with no sim ability and he hadn't been there or he'd only done a few laps, then I'd be like, oh, wow, like, he beat guys that have done 10 or 12, 24 hours. That would be impressive. But I think the cars are they've got the best driver in the world. You know, they've got driving aids in them. Like, AMs can race those cars. So I think when you put Max in one of those cars...
They're built for Pro-Am. They're built for an amateur to be able to drive them.
Yeah. So I think you put Max in one of those cars on a circuit he would know like the back of his hand, even without having done many laps. I don't know why it was such a shock that he's better than other drivers that either didn't make Formula One or they're the best in what they do, but they're not at a Max level. And there's no disrespect. I'm saying he's the best in the world. He's just... Max is the one of one.
Yeah. So
I wasn't overly surprised, but what I looked at was... the way people have said drivers aren't bigger than the sport. And I agree if, Formula One would survive if Max left, but it would damage it a lot, because to be in Australia and have the ability to watch a 24-hour live stream on board with just Max and his co-drivers in that one car, and then have special commentary from Red Bull ex-athletes and ex-drivers was unbelievable. And it's something that in the 90s or prior to that, you could not do. We had to... I feel like drivers could leave Formula One, or if someone passed away in an accident, you stayed on board. If your favourite driver was gone, you'd stick with Formula One because you didn't have that much other motorsport to consume, because Formula One was one of the only categories with global television broadcast deals. So it was just something to think about, that things are changing. And yes, they're not bigger than the sport, but they almost are. If they all left, we could still every week watch our favourite drivers in any category around the world that they choose to compete in. and Formula One doesn't have that stronghold over the consumer anymore. I think that's gone.
No, I agree. I think it's really cool what Max, I mean, he obviously just wants to race cars because that's what he does. He's just a racer through and through. But it's very cool what he's doing for categories like GT and stuff, because if you're racing in that, like he's pumping it up and he's getting extra excitement. So all the other competitors and teams that are involved in that and sponsors, they benefit from that.
Yeah, and he seems so humble. Like to have him in the lane, I think for everyone would just be surreal. Everyone seems to love him being there, and what it's doing, like you said, for the sponsors and the categories is only going to help everyone. He
seemed pretty relaxed, I guess, and open to like interviews and things across from what I saw online anyway. He almost seemed like a bit more like he was enjoying himself more.
Yeah. He somehow managed to get to the level he has and still have the passion and the love for it.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like his schedule is ridiculous for him to go, you know what, I'm going to go throw a 24-hour, the biggest 24-hour GT race in the world on my schedule as well.
Yep.
He just clearly lives and breathes it. It's cool as hell.
And he must have like that capacity we talk about. There's a few guys that have it, and he's definitely one of them. I think it was Imola last year. He won the Grand Prix, and the race, I'm pretty sure it fell between stints he was doing on iRacing for a 24-hour race with his mates. So to be able to do that and not need to, like, Nico Rosberg retired in 2016 after he beat Lewis because he said it took everything to be able to beat Lewis, and he said he couldn't do it for another year because it took time away from his family and it consumed him. Whereas Max is able to win 4, play online games and go race in the real world in other categories, including 24-hour races now.
Yeah,
and still rock up. I imagine he's going to be fresh. He'll get to Canada this weekend, fresh as a daisy, ready to go, deliver.
Yeah.
There's not many people that can do that. I think it takes a lot to be able to perform at the level they do. So to be able to do it like he does, that's what blows me away.
Very impressive.
Yeah. Now, the schedule for this weekend, it's the first time Canada has had a sprint weekend. I'm a fan of that. What do you think of the sprint weekends? Do you like them?
Yeah, I don't mind them. I think it's a nice little sample of what's to come. But then sometimes I find it doesn't always translate to the actual Grand Prix on the Sunday. As in the results from the sprint. So, but I don't mind it, mate. I think the more racing, the better sometimes.
Could
you try again?
Settle down, Siri.
We've got Siri going on my laptop somehow. Sorry about that, guys. Karen.
I could take it or leave it, mate. I think they're okay. I don't think they're earth-shattering. And if they weren't there, I wouldn't have a problem. But I'm kind of just on the fence with them.
See, I like them. It's like...
Why is that, Scott?
It's more racing. I'm like, I can't not... I can't complain about like more racing. I don't think it takes away from the main race. I like that there's less practice. They get 1 hour practice. So Friday morning, for us here in Australia, it's going to be like 2:30 in the morning.
Obviously. Which
will be Saturday. Is practice 1, but it's 1 hour and then it goes into sprint qualifying.
Yeah.
Sprint qualifying is at 6:30 in the morning for us. Excuse me. Someone did comment, I need to get less gassy ginger beers. They rock me. I'm one in. Already got the burps. Now, sprint qualifying, 6:30 in the morning, Saturday. But I do like that. That's what I like about the sprint format is there's less practice.
Yeah.
More meaningful on track that as a fan, we can sit down and watch them race. And they're straight into, practice is straight into qualifying and then the sprint race. And then we get another qualifying in the race. Like, I'm not really that interested in watching them. I don't tune in for the 1 hour free practice. I tune in for the races, so I like them.
Yeah. No, I can see that. Like I say, it's meaningful track time. Far better than just practicing and rolling around.
Yeah. And if it doesn't take away from the main day, I'm not going to put my hand up and go, well, let's bring back more practice.
Yeah. I still think, too, at that level, they could just roll straight into qual. I mean, they do 3-part qualifying anyway.
Yeah.
Like, they don't need practice.
And a lot of the cars are what dictate what gets through Q1,
really. What you roll off the truck in that world, you can't drastically change it.
Yeah.
On the weekend, I don't think so.
Yeah. Simo812 said, would like to see the sprint race set the grid for the main Grand Prix weekend. See,
you hate progressive grids.
I do.
I knew he was going to say it. You've wound him up now, Simo. Don't do that.
No, okay, I'll move on. I'll let it go. I can't let it go. It's so, you can't have progressive grids because everyone drives conservative, focused on the Sunday result. So I reckon when it's separate, if people they'll race hard, and if they lose the race, they don't really care because they get reset and they go again for the next day.
Yeah, tear a front off it and then qual the next day and still be okay.
Yeah. Sprint weekend. It's 3 weeks earlier than it was last year as well. So it's always had variable conditions, which is what makes Canada quite a good weekend. Like 2011 when Jensen won there was one of the best Grand Prix ever. But this year they are looking at temps that are as low as 14 degrees. So it's going to be a spicy one. Hopefully we see a little drizzle of rain.
That'd be nice.
It would be. Last year, P1 George, P2 Verstappen and P3 Kimi was the race.
Yeah.
Now,
It was also where we saw a nice little battle with the McLaren teammates, and Lando actually ripped the front wing off the car.
that was kind of the beginning of everyone thought was the end of McLaren's harmony in the pit in the pit, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's when the rivalry kind of really
Actually, that's a good point. It is
started to
about
raise
then,
its
wasn't
head.
it? Yeah, when they started, yeah.
And it was just a mistake from Lando. Like he put his hand up, but it really started to.
It looked
become a
dramatic
thing.
though, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. It did, and it became a thing where like beating each other was obviously the priority. Wasn't so much about the team anymore. So now that is the format for the weekend. So practice, sprint quali, then the sprint race, qualifying, and the race. We're going to do something a little different for our sponsored segment today from eToro. We're going to do the buy, hold, and sell, but we've got 3 options. We've been doing this with our guests, and it's a fun one because you can only buy, hold, or sell one of each. All right. So this segment is brought to you by eToro. Invest in stocks, ETFs, and crypto all in one app. Join millions of users worldwide and get on the grid. For more details, including the full disclaimer, head to the link in the description of the show. Take it away, Barbs. What are our options for buy, hold, or sell?
So the options that we have, Scotty, is Kimi beats George in the Canadian Grand Prix. McLaren get pole position. Max wins the race.
So you can only choose one of these to buy.
Yep. So you've got the option of buying, holding, or selling.
I'm taking a risk on Kimi beats George. I'm buying that. So George he's lost the last 3, but what makes it a risk is he's actually really good at Canada and he usually struggles at Miami anyway. So form guide probably would say that might not be right, but I reckon Kimi is on one hell of. I actually just think Kimi is dialed in. Like he's a rookie last year, so and then I'm selling Max winning the race. Can't see that, and I'll hold on pole. So I reckon pole McLaren at Monaco could be on for that. So I'm going to hold that one until next week. So
Okay.
yeah, buy, sell Max, and hold on McLaren.
Okay, cool. I'm going to buy McLaren get pole.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, actually, yeah.
I'm going to hold on Kimi beats George because I think that pretty safe bet. And then I'm going to sell Max wins the race.
Yeah, we're both. No, Max isn't winning the race, is he?
Oh, I'd love to see it.
If
I just don't think it'll happen.
And we'll check these next week because these are effectively our predictions. So if Max wins next week,
Well,
I was
yeah.
going to say who's buying the beers because we just took the same bet. Who loses?
I'll shout you, mate. But for our hunters and our listeners, pop in the comments and if you're in the chat now, let us know what you think. What are you buying, holding, and selling across those 3 things? So Kimi beats George in Canada, McLaren get pole position, or Max wins the race.
Beautiful. Thanks, eToro. Amazing supporter of the show as well. They've been supporting us now for a little while. So much appreciated on our F1 pods. Couldn't do it without you guys and all of our other partners as well. So thank you. Now, we've got something a little new, which I actually didn't know about.
Neither did I. I was happy when I saw you pop this in. I thought, I better do my research.
Yeah. Okay, so do you want to have a go at saying it?
Well, if they're saying it as a word, I would pronounce it as a duo.
do I maybe? So this is F1. This is their parity system effectively, right? So this is not BOP, and we'll explain what the difference between BOP and this is. But F1's 2026 a duo system.
ADUO, we'll call it.
Exactly. The definition for it, or the words for it, the acronym is additional development and upgrade opportunities.
Yep.
And F1 introduced this in 2026 to pretty much fix any power units that are struggling. Canada wasn't meant to be the trigger point, but they brought it forward because we've lost 2 rounds. So Canada is the trigger point. This is where after this weekend, they're going to review the performance of the cars and make changes if they need to. Now, it's designed to help manufacturers who fall behind under the new engine regulations, gives underperforming power unit manufacturers extra development opportunities, and the FIA is aiming to stop teams, manufacturers becoming permanently uncompetitive early in this reg cycle. The FIA wants to improve parity without introducing full balance of performance style measures. There's no plans for artificial equalization tools like adding ballast. There'll be no power handicaps. There'll be no major technical concessions. Essentially, a catch-up mechanism for struggling engine manufacturers under the 2026 rules. How is it different to BOP, Barbs?
Yeah, so it's different because BOP will slow down the fastest car, essentially. So if a manufacturer turned up and they were quicker, they'd be like, right, Mercedes, we're gonna slow you down somehow, either by engine or weight or however they decide. So I really like it that it's not actually, it's not penalising the team or the manufacturer that's done the best job.
Yep.
It's just like, right, you guys aren't up to scratch, so we'll give you a little bit of extra cash, and you can try and figure out with the extra money that we give you to try and bring you back up to the level. So that's how it differs from BOP, and I think it's a great thing.
I think it's great, and it is increasing their cost cap. So everyone has the cost cap. I think it's 225 million in the new regs. It used to be 130, It doesn't affect any of the hybrid components either. So it's only you can only do adjustments to the internal combustion engine.
Yep.
The index is based on various parameters such as drive shaft torque, engine speed, MGUK output, and other influences on lap time. So financially, what they're doing is they've worked it out of percentages. So if you're a certain percentage off in lap time, you get a percentage of your budget cap increased. So like 2 to 4% off is up to approximately €2.5 million in additional development spending. What I really like about this actually is as well, they're not saying, like you said, they're not just going, okay, you can have 10 more horsepower or we're going to take 10 off others, which is what parity, I feel like that's what we're doing in supercars a little bit at the moment, is like we're giving them extra bits. Yeah. But in Formula 1...
We're telling them how to do it.
Yeah. We're like, okay, we're going to move your front splitter forward and then you're going to extend the floor tray on the under tray and things like that. Whereas this is like, you can have the $2.5 million, but you then have to go use your brain power and try and make it faster.
Yeah. And so it's only for, the engine as well. So it's not like they can go, okay, we're going to spend that money in the wind tunnel and work on a new...
I believe so, yeah.
Wing or anything like that. Yep. So it's all just purely around the combustion engine.
Yep.
But it's I think it's a really clever way of going about it.
I think it's great. You're still empowering the staff members to use their brains and try and make the car faster. So like this, this is the best one. I really like this for supercars. You said tonight to me, I'm not going to take it. You said it's almost like just giving the teams an extra test day and tyres to go with it so they can go do meaningful testing. You're not giving them a cheat sheet or anything to make them faster or slow anyone down. You're going, okay, the smaller teams, if you get to like 5 rounds in and you're below 12th in the championship or 14th, you get an extra test day or whatever it might be. And throughout the year, you get that. So you actually get help to test prior to events and try and be more competitive.
Try and get better.
Yeah, it's like a competitive, you're trying to improve your skills rather than just getting a handout. So if it's 8 to 10% you are off, you get approximately 6.8 million euro. And manufacturers with a deficit of more than 10% may get up to
9.4 million euros.
9.4 million euro, exactly. Now,
probably doesn't go far in the Formula 1 world. It sounds like a lot of money. It might not go that far.
Well, actually, when you think about it, if the budget's 225, it's quite a big percentage you're getting back. Now, if there's anything we have missed in here, do not be afraid to let us know in the comments. Like I'm today making these notes and we're learning about this. I'm going to call it audio because otherwise it sounds wrong. But we are learning as we go through this as well. So learn with us or teach us. But Aston Martin has been they're so far off that.
They've thrown the rule book out. They've said, don't worry about what we said the maximum money is.
Yeah, you can have it all.
We'll give you up to 19 million. How's that sound?
In dollars, though. So I didn't do the conversion. Where I found the second article on just Aston Martin was in dollars, but $19 million.
That probably is a 9 point something euro. Is it? We're that far behind?
I reckon it's probably their maximum amount. So that could be confirmed after this weekend. So I would say that Aston Martin's likely to get a lot of assistance to try and fix what is likely to be their I think it's their power unit that's the real issue.
I could probably buy a Merc Ice and put it in the car. With the money.
That maybe they just suck for long enough that they keep triggering these and go, okay, let's just pool all of our $9 million assistances together over the year and we'll buy it at the end of the season. But the FIA has published an explanation on Wednesday of how additional development and upgrade opportunities would be applied following the end of the first period post-Montreal. So
perfect.
I think previewing this podcast, we've got in at a good time because this was today I read on Autosport this. So hopefully it's a little bit of insight for you guys ahead of the weekend, but it's certainly not been smooth sailing for Aston Martin, and I think they'll be the first team to get maximum cash. I hope you're enjoying this episode, but I do have to interrupt just quickly to thank our fantastic supporters that allow us to create the content for you. East Coast Car Rentals. If you're in the market for a rental car, think of those guys. And if you'd like a cheeky 15% discount, AHU15 is the discount code there for 15% off. If you're in the market to buy a car, not rent one, Lancaster Motor Group, we've got you covered for new or used cars. So think Lancaster Motor Group. Back to the show.
Doesn't stop on track though, Scott. Honda's in a bit of Barney rubble elsewhere too, you've got here.
Honda's having a nightmare, mate. So Honda has presented its worst financial report since the Japanese manufacturer was listed on the stock exchange in 1957. They're saying at the moment it's not going to affect HRC, the Honda racing component of the business. Now, the financial year that ended in March, Honda suffered a loss of $2.68 billion, and it is because they focused a lot on the hybrid, and it's just been a disaster for them.
EV market.
Yeah, so strategic changes on the automotive side. Honda has suspended a planned $11 billion investment to produce EVs and batteries in Canada. So it'll be interesting, like how many people support this return to V8, or at least 60-40, say, in the future, and not go down this EV path. There you go. There we go. Simo, thank you very much. 9.4 million euro is $15.28 million Australian. So they are getting above the maximum that we've seen on the report there. So they obviously think Aston needs a lot of help. But yeah, it's been a disaster for Honda in general. I mean, the last time they pulled out of Formula One was a disaster too with McLaren. So hasn't been a nice return for them, unfortunately.
No, and we were chatting at the pub too, just thinking, geez, it's been a while. Like, you don't see a lot of Hondas on the road in Australia now. Like, there's still a couple like a CRV or whatever around, but they don't seem to be as present. You don't see a lot of the dealerships when you're cruising along. It just made me think, they probably are struggling, like, especially with all the new manufacturers that are coming in, cheaper cars out of China and Korea and places like that. Like, the market is flooded. Yeah. Yeah, so it just made me think I actually haven't seen a current Honda in a little while.
Yeah, I think I don't know. It's hard for some of the manufacturers, though, that didn't come out as hybrids, or like that wasn't what they started as, I think, to transition, isn't it? Like, I think they can't catch up.
Well, they're playing catch up, and now it kind of feels like it's changing again. So they're probably just starting to get a position where they're tooling up. They're like, oh shit, now we're actually, the model's changing, and people are saying this is probably not a great idea.
Yeah.
And
Adam Burhop's added in here, base Civic price is $42,000.
Well, they just priced them out of the market, haven't they, by the sounds of it?
Far out.
Who's running the show at Honda?
That's actually insane. MIBE also confirmed that the target of selling only electric cars by 2040 has been abandoned for now. That's out of Honda. So I don't know what MIBE is, unless it's a grammatical error in this article. But yes, it does seem like internal combustions will hopefully return to Formula One. Toto Wolff is a big advocate for it. And I don't know where I saw this. This could be a bit of a stretch here, but I saw something saying he might be angling towards the FIA president.
Yeah, I saw this. We must have chatted about this at the pub maybe a week ago or so, because I have heard this, which would be funny because now he's saying he loves V8s when he was pushing a lot for, the regs that we've got now and the whole electrification and power unit system that they went down, because Merck obviously had a lot of knowledge around hybrids. They were for a long time, as a road car company, Mercedes were well ahead of the trend on the hybrid stuff. And the battery stuff as well. So, fun fact for you, when Tesla wanted to get into the car market, they basically did a deal with Mercedes. And this is my understanding, so I could be wrong, but it's a pretty good story. I'm running with it.
That's okay. We're the number one podcast in the world, so we just throw facts out there. Don't fact check.
But Tesla basically said to Merck, hey, we'll give you battery technology if you give us car technology. So I think at the time it was a CLS Mercedes chassis. They did a bit of a deal where, hey, we'll give you this chassis so you can look at all these parts and you give us some batteries. So they were obviously with the best or the newest battery company at the time, and that's sort of how they work together. So they're definitely well ahead of the curve of the other manufacturers.
It'd be interesting what happens with BYD, because there's actually talk I read today that Christian Horner might be linking up with them, and they're looking at coming into the 12th Formula One team. But if by 2030 they're going back to 60-40 split, then BYD doesn't really fit in that picture. I wouldn't think that's of interest to them. They've got the budget, but...
And maybe they go, you know what, still great brand awareness and there's still a place for us. And if it goes back towards more combustion, then we'll just treat it as a marketing exercise. And if it stays, then, I don't know.
There's got to be a reason why Christian Horner is meeting with those people. Like, he's going to be, especially when the rumours around Suzuka were coming out that they're considering joining Formula One. And there were rumours that were solid enough. The drivers were getting asked about it in the press conference. So there's merit in there. And then to hear Christian Horner's turning up with them for meetings. And it was with the CEO of BYD. So usually where there's smoke, there's fire.
Generally. And motorsport cannot keep a secret.
No.
Generally, most rumours end up being true, unless they're just complete rubbish. But
The Ford CEO as well. So Ford have actually said, this is good to hear. So Honda's had a bad experience so far with Formula One, but Ford seem very happy. with their experiences so far with Formula One. But they've also said the current engine partner is open to the idea of V8 returning. So Ford Performance Director Marsh Rushbrook explained to Autosport that Ford had initially planned to stop producing road cars powered solely by combustion engines, but has since reversed that decision. So this is exciting for any combustion lover. This is your favourite.
Ford's on it. Ford knows what's up.
Mate, it is actually really good to hear some of these manufacturers coming out going, hey, we're putting them on hold. Oh, it's amazing.
Well, maybe they'll start to listen to the consumers and to the fans and the public.
I think look, I totally get it for road cars, to be honest. With fuel prices now, I'm like, it's crossed my mind and
having a split works, I think.
100%. I think the hybrid model for a road car is amazing. But as a race car, it's just
don't give me one.
I reckon you'd drive one. You'd live like 40 minutes away and you drive a diesel, mate. You're definitely...
I'm petrol. My thing's a guzzler.
Oh, that's even more. Yeah, that would be terrible.
Yeah, no,
so you would definitely take a hybrid. But yeah, I look, I'm not anti it on the road, but as a race car, I just don't, it doesn't do anything for me. And I'll use Formula E as the example. A mate of mine is leading the championship at the moment. Mitch Evans is leading. And I was like, you know what, I'll go watch, didn't watch the race. And I was like, I went back.
Tried.
No, he didn't win though on the weekend. I just thought I wanted to catch up on Monaco. I was like, that's an interesting one. I went onto YouTube and had a look at their channel and saw what they did. It was like 28-minute highlight. Jumped on that. 4 minutes in a highlight. I was so confused. They've got like timers on the totem pole for, I think it's battery left or remaining, and then the totem pole, because it's a highlight package, they don't follow the race as such. So the order's mixed up. I'm like, I cannot follow. It doesn't make sense like traditional racing.
Yeah.
And that's where like the artificial passing was an issue because, yes, okay, it's like one spot, but when you go away for 10 minutes and you come back and you've got like, everyone's got like, 2 minutes next to their name or a minute next to their name or 30 seconds and the order's changed by 10 positions. I'm like, what did I miss? And I don't even know. Like, I actually don't understand how it works unless you sit down and watch the race. So it just doesn't make sense as a race car for me. Like it's got to make additional sense.
We're purists.
Yeah, and I know for diehards, if you're going to sit there and watch it, but even Formula E, jumped on their socials. Social media is a good indicator of someone's success for a category. They got 1.8 or 1.5 million followers, and they get like 2 comments.
I reckon without
some posts get 1 comment on it. I'm like,
I reckon without Dan Ticktum, they would struggle. I reckon he gets most of their views. For this. His blow ups, and even actually Nick Cassidy has made both of ours. He's had a couple of nice blow ups too.
Mitch has had a few as well. Like they all I think get upset sometimes. Maybe it's the driving those things. I don't know, but I mean they make great money. The racing itself when they're battling,
the racing's actually
awesome.
Very
it's actually
good.
very good.
Yeah, it is very good.
I've got to wash my mouth out now after giving them a rap saying how good it is.
What do you think about speaking of rumour mills?
Yeah.
Verstappen to McLaren, Piastri to Red Bull. What's your vibe on that one, Scotty?
Yeah, that's come up a little bit actually. And last week, so in 2022, Christian Horner did an interview. It's come back. It's been resurfaced again where he said they regret, as Red Bull do, not signing Piastri earlier. And he said that I think, so he used to own Arden. That's where Christian Horner started. He owned Arden and then sold that. But Oscar Piastri drove for Arden. So we got to see him drive there and he said he was amazing. And that's one of the regrets they had at Red Bull was not signing him. So I think that's added fuel to the fire, the fact that Red Bull regretted signing him. And then now with some of the rumour mill going around that Max could leave and go to McLaren because GP, his engineer, is going there in 2028. I also find that weird that like in supercars when an engineer gets poached, they go on like 6 months gardening leave and then they're at the other team. To be in 26 and an engineer, someone so high, still working in the race team and leaving in 2028 seems like I think that's wild that they can stay for so long.
Yeah, I would have thought they would have had reasonably long clauses in their contracts that, hey, if you do leave, I would have thought in that world with IP and everything being so critical, that it would have been 12-month plus ban or something.
Yeah, and maybe they will next year. Like maybe when 27 rolls around, they do actually do that. But there's definitely a rumor going around, or I guess speculation that Max might end up at McLaren, and it does line up. Like with GP going there, Max even once famously said that he would not drive with a different engineer. So they're obviously very close. Another,
or does that rumor, with GP going to McLaren, does that mean that maybe Max will run out his course and then say la vie off to other forms of motorsport and just do his career at Red Bull? I mean,
maybe he finishes it, he renegotiates when he's because I think by the summer break, the clause I believe is so last year if he was outside the top 3 in the championship, it would trigger the clause to leave the team. And then if he was this year, it's if he's not leading the championship by the summer break, which is 7 GPs away, then he has the option to leave, which is crazy to think there's no tolerance. It's like you can't give me if you can't give me a car that's first place in the championship, I'm leaving.
I'm done.
And that's where this has come. So you might be right. Maybe he renegotiates there to say, actually, I don't want to do 28 anyway. I'm finishing in 27 and leaves. But if he did, they're saying that Oscar could be the perfect person to go to Red Bull. Obviously, Mark's history there as well. Webber, we know, is not like full-time in the picture traveling with him anymore, but he's still there. So I don't see it happening because I actually don't see Max leaving. If Max left, yes.
Yes, yeah.
But when I look at what Red Bull allow him to do,
yeah,
I don't know that another team putting this much investment into their driver would allow Max to go and do these things. And as of today, Mercedes just said no to Kimi Antonelli getting his license to do it by the end of the year. They said they actually blocked it. And they said when they don't think a 19-year-old can put the effort into other things without focusing just on Formula One at the moment. And they joked as well and said maybe when he's won 4 world titles and he's a bit older, he can go and do those things. But I think like most teams, they wouldn't want their driver to do the extracurricular and just focus on.
Max is in the position where he has the power. He can dictate what he wants to do.
Yeah. And also, Adam's made a good point. He has said he won't leave Red Bull, but how many times have we heard drivers say they won't? Like, this is another one as well. It's not in our notes, but Kimi Antonelli, one of their family friends, has said in the last couple of days that he will drive at Ferrari one day.
He's Italian.
And you would
Makes sense.
And you would think, though, with everything Merck put into him, you'd be like, well, he's no way he's going to leave. That if the thing is with
Ferrari
Max,
stay the way they're going, I wouldn't be leaving. I wouldn't care if I'm Italian or not.
Yeah.
Just give me a race winner.
Yeah, exactly. And also, like, the team Max won his championships with doesn't exist anymore. Hunters, I just want to take a moment to thank one of our fantastic supporters, Shaw & Partners Financial Services. Shaw & Partners are a leading national investment advice and wealth management firm. They act for and on behalf of individuals, institutions, corporates, charities, and family offices. So, if you're looking for advice or assistance with investments or strategies, look no further than Shaw & Partners Financial Services. With a 35-year history and 8 offices strategically placed all over Australia, their financial advisors are within reach and ready to provide tailored solutions and advice. For more information, follow the link in the description of this podcast. Back to the show. We'll do another sound check. Thanks, Barbara. Good bartending there, Elliot. You can keep your gig for a bit longer.
Thank you, sir.
So yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't have an answer. It was a good one to speculate, like to talk about because it is out there. Sound check. But I don't know. Let us know. Do you guys think? I think the question is Max leaving?
Yeah.
If Max leaves, then yep, I reckon if he could get I'm number one.
Yeah, I agree.
Would be there.
Yeah, I agree. Anyone is mad to go up against if Max is still there because you're not going to be the number one.
Yeah.
So,
and he won't go anyway unless Max leaves, I reckon, because of Isaac.
Yeah. Yep.
Quick couple talking points. So Kimi Antonelli's opened out to a 20-point lead ahead of this weekend after 3 wins on the trot. This was kind of in our buy, hold and sell, but do you think, not to undo the buy, hold, sell, can George turn the tables though on Kimi, or is this Kimi now he's found his form in his second season?
Yeah, I know it's early days, but I think George might be a little bit rattled. Yeah. I think Kimi's in a purple patch. I think he's doing a great job. I can't see that changing. And I think Kimi has the upper hand in the fact that I think George would be someone that could potentially throw the toys out the cot and start to get the shits a little bit. So, yeah, no, I think Kimi's – I don't think George will beat him this weekend.
I actually still don't see him beating him for the title. I think Kimi's off and running. And I know it's a bold call because, like, this time last year we were pretty sold on Oscar as well coming back and he started his run. But
well, can Kimi go 4 from 4? That's what everyone wants to know, Scott.
Yes.
There you go.
He can do it. Now, McLaren got a 1-2 in the Miami Sprint. Can they repeat that or go even better? They announced that, it was in our next point, 60% of the upgrades. So of their upgrades, they have 2 upgrades they're going to bring to the grid. Miami being the first, Canada being the second. First lot of upgrades, I reckon, was 60% of the overall, and they've got a final 40% they're going to introduce at Canada. Yeah. So can they repeat the form or go even better and potentially win the main race?
Yeah, I think if they were pretty happy. Andrea Stella was pretty happy with their upgrades and I guess the time they were able to bring back down to Merck at Miami.
Yep.
And I think, he seems to think if they can get a similar level of success from the remaining 40% of their upgrades that they're bringing this weekend in Montreal, then, I think they're in with a shot for sure. It'll depend on how Merck roll out. But, I think they can – I definitely think they're the second best car on the grid.
Yeah, surprisingly, I actually think the Ferrari has potential, but for whatever reason, it doesn't last. I don't know if that's
over the race distance. Yeah, not like over
battery or
over lap speed, like 1 lap speed.
Ferrari's
I agree with you, but over the race, I think we said that at was it China? We said a similar thing. Like it just seemed like
straight away they were making it as like lap 30 of a 54 lap race, and then and I don't know if it doesn't seem like it's tyre life either. It's like
I think it runs out of puff. Yeah,
it runs out of battery. It's like Gen 1 of do you remember Formula E when they first came out? They used to have 2 cars and they'd swap in the pits. They'd jump out and jump in the next one, drive out.
Yeah.
It's wild. But qualifying as well this weekend. Keep an eye on the race because qualifying I don't think is going to be as important.
Well, we laughed about the pub too, mate. The Ferrari, as long as it's on the front 4 rows, it'll lead the first lap anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Now, got a little detail there. The gap that's closed from McLaren to Mercedes. That's an interesting one. That's something that we've noticed, but then didn't have the numbers across the first few events.
So the gaps here at Australia, Russell to Piastri was 8 tenths. Merck were up the road. They were gone. China sprint race, Russell to Lando Norris was 6 tenths, so they took 2 tenths out of it there. China, Russell to Piastri was, so in the GP, they were just under 5 tenths gap. Japan, Kimi Antonelli to Piastri was 3 tenths, so again, they took another 1.5 out there. Miami sprint, McLaren was actually faster. So they were 2 tenths up the road. And then in the Miami GP, which is probably most relevant, it was 3 tenths again. So they have brought, 4 tenths down from the start of the season.
What's crazy, like you think about the sprint, to have 8 tenths they had gained at that point. The race at Miami was a bit of an odd one. I didn't really understand where the pace went across the weekend because even in qualifying they struggled on the Sunday like for the main race, so the GP. So I'm not sure where that went, but it's crazy that McLaren is so good at bringing upgrades, and I know Mercedes have some upgrades. They're pretty skeptical on what they are. I think the aero upgrades are only minor for this weekend, but they are saying they want to respond. Of course they want to. They think they can respond.
Yeah.
But McLaren the best at bringing upgrades. Like you look at that trajectory to
it's definitely trending in the right direction.
And 22 races this season, usually 24, but 22 this season. We're only 4 rounds in.
It's a real shame that they had the DNFs and the non-starts.
Yeah.
Just from a points point of view, that's clearly obvious. But if they could have just rolled round and ran 9th and 10th, it would have been far better than or 6th or 7th would have been far better. They would have had an extra 10 or 12 points or whatever.
And Tremont, you make a good point, mate. Different tracks would suit different cars. But I think we've seen a pretty diverse range of tracks now.
We've had a little bit of it's been a decent, we've had the high, fast corner, they're recharging anyway. But we've had the big open tracks, we've had some street tracks.
Even I think back to the first one though, where Lando was nowhere. Like we saw 8 tenths was the gap. And he struggled. And I thought, this is a disaster for McLaren. You wouldn't be thinking we'd be going to Canada now going, could they win the race after having a 1-2 in the sprint race at Miami? Like I didn't think. I think on the first episode I did with Murph, I said, it's sad that in this generation car, we've got last year's world champion, can't even be a contender. And then somehow they found enough pace that they are turning up as a contender. They've got to be in your picks for a podium.
Yeah.
Which they weren't really at the start of the season. Now, last year, a real quick form guide on Formula 1. So George did have pole. He's had pole last 2 seasons. Last year, he got the dub. But, Max was P2 and Oscar was 3rd. Oscar made a bad start by memory. And then, in the race, George got the dub ahead of Max Verstappen and Kimi Antonelli was 3rd. And obviously, there was the run in between Oscar and Lando. So that's your form guide from last year. If you want to place your bets, people, hopefully you've learned enough this episode. Now, Indy 500 is this weekend as well, Barbs.
It is. So they did the qualifying. So they essentially roll out. It's a 4-lap. They roll around for 4 laps and they average across the 4 laps. And then they broke it down to a fast 12 and a fast 6.
Yep.
So they essentially, if you made it to the fast 6, you had to go out and do 3 sessions essentially.
I rated it.
Of just balls to the wall, flat knacker. they were peaking at sort of 242, I think 243
Yeah.
mile per hour.
That was
miles per
insane.
hour, tipping it in. I watched it. I thought it was actually, for a lap that's flat, it still somehow was quite exciting watching it.
Yeah, there was slight lifts. Like I think turn 3, they
Yeah.
had a tailwind on the way in. And I loved seeing how much the drivers were working as well with weight jackers and things in the car.
Oh, they've got a lot going on in there.
Yeah.
Cool too. I like the graphs that they used, IndyCar, so you could see when they were using the hybrid
Yep.
and all that sort of stuff. You could track that as they were going, and I think the strategy in what drivers chose to do to try and go as quick as they could, and when they would use that was interesting too. Watching.
Yeah, I thought I found qualifying enjoyable to watch. It was delayed, so it all took place on one day. I don't think it normally does that. I think it's across 2 days.
Yeah.
So it was across one day. Massive box tick. I was like, that was awesome. And to just have it back to back was mega. And the effort from the drivers, like terrifying, dude. Terrifying.
That's what I was just about to say. To go out and just commit for those 4 laps, and as you say, when we say that it's flat, I'm not saying it's easy for. I'm just saying like they're going that fast. They're like committed, and like we
James
saw.
Hinchcliffe said to go fast, you've got to be prepared that you might crash. Like you're on the edge. It's pretty much turn in and then just run the neutral steering lock. So you're not turning in, you're not turning out on oversteer, but it's just floating.
Yeah.
And that's the fastest way around there.
Yeah, just minimising the scrub and hoping it sticks. And so I think for them to have to go out and do that 3 times if they made the fast 6, so 12 laps of just wondering if the thing's going to stick at 240 mile an hour is just unbelievable.
Well, I
so
saw Rossi had, when they do the interviews, always watch drivers' hands.
Adrenaline shakes.
And he had massive adrenaline shakes after his fast 12 run. And he did really well. They said to him, what do you got to do to be in the front 2 rows? Because he was struggling. I think he just snuck into the 12. He ended up qualifying second. Unbelievable job on his run. But yeah, I saw his hands after the interview, and it is interesting. Keep an eye on drivers' hands after qualifying, because you can tell at certain tracks where they get Bathurst is the one for us. I remember seeing JC once pointing at the leaderboard after, and his hands like, mate, just pick one. Who are you trying to point out?
Yeah.
But yeah, adrenaline's crazy, and it must be in the IndyCar. Now, Scotty Mack had a decent run.
Yeah.
He wasn't overly happy. Where did he actually?
He was really good early and got into the 12. I think
he finished up 9th.
Yeah, he was 3rd or 4th going into the fast 12 segment.
Yep.
And then he ended up, I think it was 9th.
Yeah, and when he ran, he was like, that lap's not going to hold up. David Malukas is a standout right now. His first year in IndyCar in Team Penske, and he's doing well because obviously the expectation and pressure is very high, replacing Will Power, but he's out of 3rd. Rossi was 2nd, and Alex Palou in the front row in pole position. His lap, like how he pulled that out, because he was not the fastest. Felix Rosenquist across the entire qualifying was like, I thought, easy. And then his first lap, I'm not sure. Yeah, and this is where they are still driving the thing, because whether he got tight or scrub speed, drivers make a big difference. And he was comfortably laying the first lap time at like an average of 230 mile an hour, 232. I think he averaged 231.7 or something on his first run.
And they're like, what's happened?
They're like, whoa, what's happened here?
Slowest first lap he'd done. Yeah.
Of the whole time. So the drivers, even though you think they're going in circles, just just the car's doing all the work.
Yeah.
That showed the fastest car, the driver just in that moment didn't put it together. I don't think they made a change between. So, it's crazy. And I actually really enjoyed the qualifying session. I thought it was awesome. But I did have Rosenquist. I thought early, he's my pick. He's just going to smoke everyone. But not the case. 4th. Now, if Scotty Mack, someone did pop in our comments too, if he can get into turn 1 and start the race, it's probably a shot after last year's crash on the formation lap.
I wasn't going to bring it up.
No, it's behind him now, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Catherine Legg doing the double.
Yeah, so she's going to do Indy 500 plus the Coke 600, the Charlotte 600.
Yep.
In NASCAR, which we've seen Kyle Larson try in the past. Robbie Gordon's done it successfully a few times. There's been a few people that have tried it over the years.
I think Tony Stewart.
Yeah, Tony Stewart's tried it. And as we saw with Kyle Larson, and I saw an interview during the week with Kyle Larson saying, what do they think on her doing? He said, yep, it's cool, it's great, whatever. But he's like, the biggest trick is it's so weather dependent.
Yeah.
If the IndyCar race gets delayed, then you might not make it to Charlotte. So, And logistically, they've got to jump in planes and helicopters and all sorts of crap to make it happen.
Well, that's why he got so angry at Scott McLaughlin. Remember, he got really angry that Scotty crashed in the
Well, he did one of these
Yeah.
out the car, didn't he, or something like, what are you doing, or something.
Yeah.
And
And it's like, mate,
Scott's like, I don't care about your fucking NASCAR race.
yeah.
So that was interesting. But for our Kiwi and Aussie fans, just thought I'd let you know, Scotty Dixon did qualify 10th for the big show, and Will Power was 19th
Yep.
as well.
Disappointing for Andretti.
Where did Marcus? Where did?
17th was the highest Andretti car, I believe, with Marcus Ericsson.
Right. Where did Armstrong is? Sorry, and also Marcus Armstrong, who's another young Kiwi, is 16th as well.
Yep.
Just thought if I don't mention, I'll get a pull through on that, and so I bloody should.
That's a wrap. That's an efficient F1 IndyCar pod. If we've missed anything, put it in the comment section.
Let us know.
And if you know something we don't too, don't be afraid to tell us. We don't mind.
I'm sure there's plenty they know that we don't, Scott.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, it's all part of us all learning together, make the show better. But if you haven't subscribed already, please do so, and turn notifications on.
Yes.
Give this video a cheeky thumbs up too, if you wouldn't mind. But we'll see you in the next one for the Supercars pre-brief.